You know, sometimes as men, we don't want to admit it, but we feel it deep down when we're not being respected by someone we care about, and when that someone is a woman you're dating in a relationship with, or even married to, it cuts even deeper. It gets into your confidence. It makes you question your worth, and it chips away at your self-esteem. Slowly, silently, and sometimes permanently, the truth is respect is not something you beg for, it's something you command by the way you carry yourself, by your energy, your presence, and the boundaries you draw early on. The issue is many men are raised to believe that if they just love harder or provide more or stay silent, then somehow things will improve. But in reality, the more you tolerate disrespect, the more you invite it, and that's where the problem starts. Let's talk about what it feels like when a woman doesn't respect you. Maybe she constantly talks over you, cuts you off when you speak, dismisses your opinions, mocks your passions, talks negatively about you to others, and worst of all, does these things like they're normal, like they're just jokes, but you don't feel like laughing. You feel hurt, you feel ignored, you feel small, and no man deserves to feel that way in a relationship that's supposed to be about love, support, and partnership. So, how do you handle a situation like that? How do you move from tolerating disrespect to demanding respect without losing your cool, without being toxic, without turning cold or aggressive? The answer isn't in trying to control her behavior. It's in mastering your own response, your value, your mindset, and your ability to walk away if needed. Now let's go deeper. Imagine you're in a situation where your partner constantly undermines you in public. You laugh it off at first, but it starts bothering you, so one day you sit her down and you calmly explain how it makes you feel. You don't shout, you don't threaten you, don't insult you, just speak your truth. Clearly, firmly, and with emotional intelligence. And you say something like, when you joke about me in front of your friends, it makes me feel like I'm not important, and I want us to support each other, not tear each other down. If she respects you, she'll reflect and adjust. If she doesn't, she'll mock you or gaslight you or act like you're being sensitive. That right there is your answer, not just about her, but about the future of the relationship. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is withdraw your attention, because women notice when a man who once gave them his full heart suddenly becomes distant, not rude, not disrespectful, just emotionally unavailable. And that shift, it speaks louder than words. When you stop trying to win her over and start focusing on your own peace, she'll either level up or phase out, and both are a blessing. A lot of guys stay in toxic situations hoping things will change, but the hard truth is, if she doesn't respect you now, she likely won't later unless you change how you carry yourself. That doesn't mean you become arrogant or controlling. It means you honor your standards. If you say you won't tolerate shouting, then walk away the first time it happens, and don't come back until there's an apology and a change in behavior. If you say you need communication, not games, then stop chasing people who breadcrumb you and start prioritizing those who bring clarity. What most men don't realize is that the way you teach people to treat you begins the moment you meet them. Every time you let a disrespectful comment slide, every time you accept half-hearted effort, every time you shrink to avoid conflict, you're saying this is okay, this is acceptable, and what you tolerate becomes your standard. And here's the thing, you don't need to raise your voice to raise your value. You raise your value by knowing who you are, what you bring, and what you won't accept. You don't have to beg anyone to stay. You don't need to chase anyone who doesn't appreciate you. You need to be so grounded in your self-worth that you attract respect by default and repel disrespect like a shield. Sometimes handling a woman who doesn't respect you means walking away, not to punish her, but to protect yourself, your energy, your peace, and your future. And walking away doesn't mean slamming doors or leaving dramatic messages. It means quietly removing yourself from situations that drain you and surrounding yourself with people who uplift you. And maybe you're thinking, but I love her, maybe she'll change. Maybe if I try harder, she'll finally see my worth. Brother, listen, love without respect is not love, it's attachment. And if she doesn't see your worth now, she's not your mirror. She's your lesson, and lessons are meant to be learned, not lived in forever. You deserve someone who respects your time, your voice, your emotions, your efforts, someone who listens when you speak, supports your goals, challenges you to grow, and brings peace. It's not confusion, because the right woman will never make you question your worth. She'll remind you of it daily, and the wrong woman will make you doubt it even when you're doing everything right. So, step into your power not by dominating but by elevating. Hold yourself to a higher standard, speak your truth. Without fear, set boundaries, without guilt, and most of all, love yourself enough to let go of what hurts, even if it once made you happy. You're not here to beg for love or plead for validation. You're here to grow, to thrive, and to build with someone who sees you fully and still chooses to respect you. And if that person isn't her, that's okay sometimes. Walking away isn't the end, it's the beginning of a new chapter, a better chapter 1, where you're no longer explaining your worth, you're living in it proudly now. Let's dive into something deeper because it's easy to say leave when you're being disrespected. But in reality, it's not always that simple. Relationships are messy, and emotions can cloud judgment. So when you're facing disrespect, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, why am I tolerating this? This question isn't meant to make you feel bad. It's meant to spark self-awareness. When you understand why you're accepting disrespect, you'll have the power to change the situation. Maybe you're afraid of being alone. Maybe you feel like you can't do any better, or maybe you just don't know any other way. But I'm here to tell you that respect starts with you respecting yourself. It's not about waiting for someone else to change. It's about setting standards and sticking to them no matter what. That's how you become unshakable in your worth, when you've set your boundaries and articulated your needs. And she continues to disrespect them. It's time to move forward. Moving forward doesn't always mean ending the relationship right away. Sometimes it means giving her the space to either level up or realize the consequences of her actions. There's something powerful about silence. It's not about punishing anyone. It's about showing that you're no longer available for anything less than what you deserve, you see. When you begin to create distance, she will either reflect on her behavior or continue in her ways. And if she doesn't choose to respect you, that's your answer. The hardest thing for a man to do is to walk away when they still love someone. But remember this, love isn't enough when respect is absent. If she doesn't value you, then staying in the relationship will only cause more harm. Not just to you, but to her as well, as difficult as it is, sometimes. The most loving thing you can do for both yourself and her is to leave. And that doesn't make you weak or uncaring. It makes you strong enough to know your worth and be brave enough to demand respect. Because if you're in a relationship where respect is constantly being chipped away, you're not being loved. You're being drained, but let's be clear, walking away doesn't mean that you've failed. It means you've learned what you won't tolerate. And that's where real growth begins. Walking away opens the door for better things, better opportunities, and better people. It frees you from toxic patterns and places you on the path to healing. Sometimes to find your way, you have to let go of the people who are standing in your way, remember. Life is too short to be constantly questioning your value. You're not here to beg for someone's respect, and you're not here to settle for anything less than your worth. You deserve someone who lifts you up, supports you, and loves you in a way that makes you feel seen and heard. And if you're not getting that, then it's time to reassess what you're putting up with. The power lies within you to walk away when you need to. But before you take that step, ask yourself, is this relationship helping me grow? Is it making me feel respected and valued? If not, then it's okay to step back and reevaluate where you're placing your energy. You'll be surprised at how much peace you can find when you stop forcing things and start trusting the process. Trust that the right people will come into your life at the right time. People who will respect you, value you, challenge you to be the best version of yourself. So in closing, remember that handling women who don't respect you isn't about confrontation or trying to change them. It's about knowing your worth, setting your standards, and walking away from anything that doesn't align with your values. It's about standing firm in your boundaries and never compromising on the respect you deserve. If you take nothing else from this, take this: your worth isn't up for debate. The right woman will respect you from the start, and if she doesn't, that's your cue to move on. You're a king, not a beggar. Your peace is worth more than any relationship that brings you discomfort and self-doubt.